Listen closely, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at money forever. Not because this audiobook contains some magic formula, not because there's a secret shortcut hidden between these lines. No, it's because, for the first time in your life, you're about to understand the truth nobody teaches. Money is psychological before it is mathematical. Your bank balance is a result. Your mindset is the cause. Your income is just a reflection. Your beliefs are the mirror. And if you don't change the mind that handles money, you'll never change your relationship with money. Welcome to The Psychology of Money. 10 Secrets of Wealth, a deep dive into the mental patterns that separate those who struggle from those who build wealth effortlessly. This audiobook isn't about quick tips, budgeting tricks, or get-rich hacks. It's about behavior, decisions, mindset, and the 10 psychological rules the wealthy live by, even when they don't talk about them. Before we continue, I want to say, my dear friend, if you are watching this video, then you are definitely on the right track. Like, subscribe, and write in the comments which topic or problem interests you the most. Chapter 1, The First Truth, Money Obeys Mindset. Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. 2 people can earn the same income, but end up with completely different lives. Why? Not intelligence, not luck, not opportunity. It's the psychology behind every decision they make. One person sees money as fuel for freedom. The other sees money as proof of survival. One builds, the other escapes. One focuses on what money can multiply. The other focuses on what money can buy. You see, wealth has very little to do with money itself, and everything to do with how you think, how you react, and how you handle the invisible forces inside you. Fear, impulse, patience, confidence, discipline, foresight. This is why people who win the lottery lose everything. It's why people with average salaries become millionaires. It's why the rich stay rich, and why the poor often stay poor. The psychology behind the money matters more than the money in your hand. Chapter 2, Secret number 1, Money grows where attention goes. Here's something they'll never tell you in school. You cannot build wealth if your attention is scattered. Your attention is your most valuable currency, more valuable than money itself. Because where your attention goes, your decisions follow. And where your decisions go, your outcomes follow. The wealthy don't have more time than you. They simply spend it differently. When other people distract themselves, wealth creators direct themselves. When others seek entertainment, wealth builders seek information. When others chase comfort, wealth builders chase clarity. If you want to master money, start here. Audit your attention before you audit your bank account. Where does your focus go when you're stressed? Where does it go when you're bored? Where does it go when you're tired, angry, or discouraged? The rich invest their attention. The poor leak theirs. Wealth begins in the mind long before it shows up in the world. Chapter 3, Secret 2, Your future self is your best investment. Most people are financially stuck for one reason. They make decisions for the person they are today, not the person they want to become. But the wealthy, they think differently. They train their mind to ask one question: will my future self thank me for this? It's a powerful filter. It cuts through impulse. It cuts through fear. It cuts through instant gratification. This is why wealthy people read more than they spend, why they invest more than they display, why they build systems instead of hunting paychecks. They play a long-term game in a short-term world. They aren't addicted to now. They're loyal to later. And that loyalty to the future, that devotion to who they are becoming, is one of the deepest secrets behind wealth. If you want to become rich, you must begin behaving like the version of you who already is, not by pretending, not by faking it, but by making decisions through the lens of the person you're trying to build. Your future self is your most valuable asset. Chapter 4. Secret. Number 3. Emotions make you poor. Systems make you rich. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. Most people don't have a money problem. They have an emotional problem disguised as a money problem. Overspending is emotional. Procrastination is emotional. Avoiding your finances is emotional. Taking on debt for validation is emotional. Buying things you cannot afford is emotional. The wealthy understand something critical. If you don't control your emotions, you'll never control your money. So what do? They build systems that protect them from themselves. Automation, habits, non-negotiables, routines, rules. Because humans are inconsistent, but systems aren't. Wealth is rarely the result of intense effort. It is almost always the result of consistent structure. This is a psychological shift most people never make. They try to motivate themselves into wealth. But the wealthy engineer themselves into wealth through systems, structure, and discipline that don't rely on how they feel. Money rewards consistency, and consistency requires systems. Chapter 5. Secret number 4. You are not paid for your time. You are paid for your value. Here's a secret that changes everything. Poor thinking monetizes hours. Rich thinking monetizes value. When you sell your hours, your income is capped. When you sell value, your income scales. Remember, time is limited, value is not. This is why wealthy people obsess over skills, leverage, multipliers, automation, scalable work, ownership, intellectual capital. They don't ask, how can I earn more per hour? They ask, how can I create something that earns whether I'm present or not? The poor chase wages. The wealthy build engines. Once you understand this, your entire strategy for earning money changes. You stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a creator. Because the truth is simple. You can't build wealth renting your time. You build wealth by building value. And this is where the psychology gets deeper. Because understanding these truths is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you start applying the next set of secrets, the ones that reveal why wealth feels so difficult to build, why most people sabotage their own progress, and why the rich seem to operate by rules no one else is taught. You're only at the beginning, and the next chapter will shift your perception of money more than anything you've heard so far. Get ready. Because the next part reveals the psychological traps that keep people broke and how to break them permanently. You learned the first 4 psychological foundations of wealth. Now we go deeper into the hidden rules that quietly shape your financial destiny, the rules the wealthy follow without thinking, and the traps the average person never sees coming. Take a breath, because what comes next is the part people resist the most, the truths that hurt before they help. Chapter 6, Secret number 5. Your environment is your financial future. Most people believe money is an individual game. Just you, your work, your habits, your decisions. But here's the truth. Wealthy people understand. You don't rise to your goals. You rise or fall to your environment. Look around your life for a moment. Who do you talk to the most? What do you hear daily? What do the people around you value? How do they think about money, success, time, ambition? This matters more than you think. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will complain. If you surround yourself with consumers, you will consume. If you surround yourself with doubters, you will doubt. If you surround yourself with spenders, you will spend. And if you surround yourself with builders, you will build. Wealthy people curate their environment like their life depends on it, because it does. They create rooms where ambition is normal, where discipline is expected, where goals are spoken out loud, where money is not something to fear, but something to understand. The truth is simple. Your environment trains your mind long before your habits do. If you want to change your financial future, you must first change your financial surroundings. Chapter 7, Secret number 6. The rich think in decades, the poor think in paychecks. Here's one of the most powerful distinctions in financial psychology. Wealth is a long-term reward for long-term thinking. Poverty is a short-term reward for short-term thinking. You feel good now when you buy things. You feel good later when you invest in things. You feel comfort now when you procrastinate. You feel success later when you take action. You feel safe now when you avoid risk. You feel wealthy later when you learn to manage it. This is the truth the wealthy understand. You cannot build a rich life with a short-term brain. They ask themselves, how will this decision age in 10 years? What will this habit build for me? What will this investment mean for my children? What compound effect does this choice create? Poor thinking answers to today, rich thinking answers to tomorrow. Because everything in life compounds: skills, debt, knowledge, habits, money, choices, attention, discipline, laziness. Everything grows, everything multiplies, everything compounds, for you or against you. Once you think in decades, everything in your life becomes more intentional. Chapter 8, Secret number 7. The Rich Master, Boredom. Most people don't fail because it's hard. They fail because it's boring. Saving's boring, investing is boring, discipline is boring. Consistency is boring, learning is boring, repeating the fundamentals is boring, but boredom is where wealth is built. The poor chase excitement, the wealthy embrace repetition. That's the greatest psychological secret of all. Your ability to tolerate boredom determines your financial destiny. The wealthy don't need constant novelty. They don't need fast progress. They don't need emotional highs. They trust the process. They trust the math. They trust the compounding. They trust the routine. If you want to build wealth, you must become someone who finds pride in patience, not someone who needs fireworks to stay committed. Because here's the truth. Anyone can start. Only the disciplined can continue. Only the patient can win. Chapter 9, Secret. Your beliefs about money become your limits. Listen carefully. You will never outperform your beliefs about money. If you believe money is hard to earn, it will be. If you believe money is scarce, it will be. If you believe wealth is for lucky people, you'll never see opportunity. If you believe making more money requires sacrifice in your life, you won't try. Your beliefs create your ceiling, and your ceiling becomes your prison. But here is the psychological shift wealthy people make. They audit their beliefs more than they audit their finances. They ask, what did I learn about money as a child? Does this belief help me or hurt me? Is this something I chose or something I inherited? Who Whose voice is speaking when I fear money? Because most of your financial behavior is not chosen consciously. It's absorbed from family, from culture, from school, from society, from fear, from scarcity, from people who were doing the best they could but didn't understand money themselves. You must unlearn before you can earn. This is why step one of wealth building is psychological. Rewrite the beliefs that sabotage your potential. Reprogram the stories that limit your thinking. Rebuild the mindset that shapes your decisions. Before you work on your money, work on your mind. Chapter 10. Secret 9. Money favors the prepared. Success is rarely about luck. Luck simply reveals who was prepared. Remember, opportunity doesn't make you rich. Preparation does. The wealthy position themselves so that when opportunity arrives, they're ready. They study. They understand markets. They grow skills. They build networks. They build cash reserves. They build systems. They build habits. They build knowledge. So when a moment appears, a deal, a partnership, a chance, a recession, a window, they move quickly. Momentum favors the prepared. The poor call it luck. The rich call it timing. But both are wrong. It's preparation. Preparation is the backbone of every major wealth leap. Not timing, not luck, not destiny. Preparation. And it is a psychological discipline, a habit, a lifestyle. Chapter 11. Secret 10. The rich play offense, not defense. Most people play life to not lose. The wealthy play life to win. Poor psychology focuses on safety. Rich psychology focuses on strategy. One tries to avoid failure, the other tries to create success. This shift changes everything. Your money grows in the space where you stop reacting and start building. Defense is fear-based. Offense is intention-based. You can't win a game you're afraid to play. And the wealthy are not fearless. They are simply trained, prepared, and mentally conditioned to take strategic risks that compound. Playing offense doesn't mean being reckless. It means thinking ahead, learning faster, acting deliberately, creating leverage, solving problems, building before you need to, investing before you're forced to, preparing while others are sleeping. Wealth is not built by chance. It is built by direction. And the moment you stop playing defense, your life begins to change. You've just unlocked the 10 psychological principles that govern the behavior of wealthy people. But we're not finished. Now we go beyond psychology, into the practical mindset shifts, habits, and decision patterns that allow these truths to shape your daily life, and ultimately, your financial destiny. The next part begins the transformation. You now understand the psychological foundations of wealth. But knowledge alone won't make you rich. Psychology becomes powerful only when it becomes behavior. And behavior becomes powerful only when it becomes identity. In this next section, you will discover the truth people never tell you. You don't become wealthy by learning more. You become wealthy by becoming someone else. Someone disciplined. Someone strategic. Someone intentional. Someone aware. Someone who sees money differently. Someone who moves differently. Part 3 is where the transformation begins. Chapter 12, the most important habit of wealth, self-awareness. One of the biggest lies in personal finance is that people are bad with money. No, people are unaware with money. They don't know where their money goes. They don't know why they spend the way they do. They don't know what triggers their financial choices. They don't know the emotional patterns behind their habits. Wealthy people understand this secret. Money flows to the person who understands themselves best, because self-awareness is the foundation of every improvement. Ask yourself the questions wealthy people ask themselves. What emotional state makes me spend? What fear makes me avoid investing? What insecurity makes me chase status? What belief stops me from taking risks? What childhood pattern still controls my financial behavior? Money problems are rarely money problems. They are emotional patterns disguised as financial struggles. Self-awareness exposes those patterns. And what you expose, you can change. You cannot build wealth while running unconscious financial programs written by the past. Chapter 13. The Emotional Truths That Control Your Financial Life. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Most financial decisions are emotional decisions pretending to be logical. You know you shouldn't overspend. You know you should invest. You know you should save more. You know you should educate yourself. You know you should think long term. But knowing is not the problem. Emotion is. Fear stops you from investing. Stress makes you overspend. Insecurity makes you buy things to impress people. Impatience makes you chase shortcuts. Doubt keeps you from starting. Shame keeps you from asking for help. Comfort keeps you stuck. Money is emotional before it becomes logical. The wealthy don't eliminate emotion. They manage it. They learn emotional neutrality. They learn to feel fear, but not obey it. They learn to feel desire, but not indulge it. They learn to feel excitement, but not chase it. They learn to feel doubt, but not stop because of it. The psychology of money isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally disciplined. Chapter 14, Stop Chasing More and Start Maximizing What You Already Have. Here's the truth nobody likes to hear. You don't need more money to become wealthy. You need to use your current money wisely. Most people believe wealth comes from earning more, but wealthy people know this. Wealth comes from what you keep, not what you earn. You can out-earn bad financial habits, but only temporarily. Eventually, the leak always wins. Before you earn more, you must become the type of person who can keep more, grow more, use more, strategize more. This shift alone, using what you already have effectively, is the first real step toward wealth from nothing. Because you will not magically gain financial discipline when you make more money. You will simply scale your current habits. $100 habits become $10,000 habits. $10 habits become $1,000 mistakes. $5 impulses become $500 disasters. The rich don't wait for more money to start acting wealthy. They act wealthy first, and then the money comes. Chapter 15. The rich manage energy, not time. This is one of the most misunderstood concepts in wealth building. Time does not make you rich. Energy does. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone has the same capacity, the same focus, the same strength, the same discipline. The poor use their best energy reacting to problems. The wealthy use their best energy creating opportunity. The poor use energy on survival. The wealthy use energy on strategy. This is why wealthy people structure their days differently. They guard their mornings. They eliminate low-value tasks. They automate everything possible. They say no more than they say yes. They use their energy on creation, not consumption. Your time is useless without the energy to use it well. If you don't protect your energy, your goals become optional, your dreams become fantasies, and your potential becomes wasted. Guard your energy the way wealthy people guard their assets. Chapter 16. The habit loop that shapes your wealth. Every wealthy person has mastered one concept. Small habits, repeated daily, become massive outcomes. They don't focus on motivation. They don't rely on feelings. They don't wait for inspiration. They build systems that operate even on their worst days. Here's the loop they use. 1. Trigger design your environment so the right behaviors happen automatically. 2. Action. Do the small task, regardless of motivation. 3. Reward. Celebrate consistency, not results. Wealth is built from 100 quiet decisions no one sees. Opening the book, tracking the spending, practicing the skill, listening to the podcast, reviewing the investments, saying no when you want to say yes. Choosing discipline over impulse, choosing patience over excitement, choosing strategy over emotion. Nothing big, nothing dramatic, just small choices with enormous consequences. Chapter 17. The reasons you self-sabotage and how the wealthy break the pattern. You're about to learn something uncomfortable, but necessary. Remember, you don't sabotage because you're weak. You sabotage because your identity hasn't caught up to your goals. Your brain is wired for consistency, not success. It prefers familiar problems over unfamiliar solutions, old patterns over new lives, emotional comfort over financial progress. This is why you say, I want to get ahead, but stay overwhelmed. I want to save money, but overspend. I want to build wealth, but procrastinate. You don't have a money problem. You have a self-image problem. The wealthy break this cycle with identity-based change. I am becoming the kind of person who invests, saves, learns, grows, thinks strategically, takes responsibility, acts intentionally, builds systems. This subtle shift rewires everything. Motivation fades. Identity remains. This is the real psychology of wealth. You change your life the moment you change who you believe you are. Chapter 18. The single decision that determines your financial destiny. There is a moment, a quiet one, that determines whether you will build wealth or stay where you are. Not the moment you get a big break. Not the moment you land a better job. Not the moment you make your first investment. It's the moment you decide, I will no longer live financially unconscious. This moment is invisible. No one celebrates it. No one even notices it. But everything changes after it. Because that moment is when you stop acting like a passenger in your financial life and start acting like the driver. The poor wait for one day. The wealthy wake up and say, day one. You don't need a miracle. You need a decision to take responsibility, a decision to stop avoiding, a decision to stop repeating old patterns, a decision to stop hoping and start building, a decision to change the financial story you inherited, a decision to rewrite the financial story you will create. Everything in wealth starts with this first shift, ownership. Without it, nothing works. With it, everything is possible. Chapter 19. The truth about risk and why poor people fear it. Let's be brutally honest. Poor people fear losing money more than they fear staying poor. The wealthy fear staying poor more than they fear losing money. The difference? Risk perception. The poor see risk as danger. The rich see risk as leverage. The poor see risk as a threat. The rich see risk as an opportunity. The poor ask, what if I lose? The rich ask, what if I win? And what happens if I do nothing? Let's reveal a truth. Avoiding risk is the riskiest behavior of all. Not investing? Risky. Playing small? Risky. Staying in comfort? Risky. Avoiding new skills? Risky. Keeping your money in a savings account? Extremely risky. Refusing to adapt? Fatal. Poor people wait for certainty, but certainty is an illusion. And wealth belongs to those comfortable with calculated uncertainty. Wealthy people don't gamble. They research, they study, they hedge, they diversify, they learn from losses. They take strategic risks with asymmetric reward. They understand one powerful principle. You do not get wealthy by avoiding risk. You get wealthy by managing risk. Chapter 20, Behavior. Knowledge. The secret schools never teach. If becoming wealthy were about knowledge, every economics teacher would be a millionaire. But they aren't, because wealth is not about what you know. It's about what you do consistently. The real formula looks like this. Your behavior with money, your knowledge about money. Behavior compounds. Knowledge does not. You can read 100 money books, but if you still avoid investing, nothing changes. You can watch 1,000 videos, but if you still spend emotionally, nothing changes. You can learn every wealth principle, but if you still fear opportunity, nothing changes. This is why wealthy people obsess over habits, not information. Information informs you. Behavior transforms you. Chapter 21. The Role of Environment in Wealth. The secret people ignore. You can't out-discipline your environment. You can't outgrow a circle that keeps you small. You can't build wealth in a mindset ecosystem designed for survival. Your environment is not neutral. It is shaping you every second. The rich understand this profoundly. You become financially similar to the people you emotionally spend time with, not because of pressure, because of osmosis. If they complain, you complain. If they fear risk, you fear risk. If they overspend, you overspend. If they blame, you blame. If they avoid growth, you avoid growth. Now flip the script. If they invest, you begin to invest. If they build, you start building. If they take responsibility, you learn responsibility. If they talk ideas, you talk ideas. If they expand, you expand. Environment is the invisible hand that directs your financial destiny. The wealthiest people in the world are relentless about one thing. They curate their environment like their life depends on it, because it does. Friend, write your opinion on this topic in the comments. Do you agree with us or not? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Chapter 22, The Silent Killer of Wealth. Impatience. You're not failing to build wealth because you're incapable. You're failing because you're in a hurry. You want fast progress, fast money, fast success, fast results, fast transformation. But real wealth has its own timeline. The poor chase speed. The wealthy chase strategy. The poor chase right now. The wealthy chase right always. The poor ask, how long will this take? The wealthy ask, how far can this go? Impatience kills more financial progress than failure ever will. Because impatience makes you sell early, quit early, panic early, switch strategies too soon, seek shortcuts, chase trends, abandon long-term thinking. Your life changes the moment you accept this truth. Slow success builds empires. Fast success builds illusions. If you can master patience, you can master wealth. Chapter 23. Money doesn't change you. It exposes you. People love to say money changes people. But that's not true. Money exposes people. Money amplifies what is already inside. If you're generous, it magnifies generosity. If you're insecure, it magnifies insecurity. If you're impulsive, it magnifies impulsiveness. If you're undisciplined, it magnifies chaos. If you're strategic, it magnifies opportunity. If you're confident, it magnifies leadership. This is why the wealthy focus on one thing more than anything else: character. Your ability to handle money comes from your ability to handle yourself. This is the real psychology of money. If your identity doesn't grow, your wealth will shrink. Chapter 24. How the wealthy think about failure. Most people fear failure because they think it means stop. Wealthy people see failure as data. They ask, what did this teach me? How can I improve the system? What weakness did this expose? What assumption was wrong? How can this make me better? Failure is not rejection. It is refinement. The poor personalize failure. The wealthy optimize it. The poor think failure is permanent. The wealthy think failure is feedback. This mindset shift alone separates those who grow from those who repeat. The wealthy become wealthy for one shocking reason: they fail more times than the poor try. And now, we enter the second half of this audiobook, the half where psychology becomes power, power becomes behavior, and behavior becomes wealth. The next chapters reveal how wealthy people think about growth, action, and long-term success, and how you can adopt their mindset starting today. Chapter 25. The Wealth Triangle: Why Some People Can't Escape Broke. If you zoom out far enough, you'll notice that wealthy people operate inside a triangle, a simple structure that directs every financial decision they make. I call it the wealth triangle. It has 3 sides. 1, high-income skills. 2, scalable systems. 3, smart asset allocation. This triangle determines your fate, whether you know it or not. Here's the truth. Most people spend their entire lives standing outside the triangle, wondering why wealth never reaches them. Let's break it down. Side 1, high-income skills. Wealthy people start by increasing the value of the person, not the value of the job. Remember, a job pays you for tasks. A skill pays you for leverage. A job has a ceiling. A skill has no ceiling. A job can be replaced. A skill makes you irreplaceable. But here's the psychological secret. High-income skills are built, not inherited. You weren't born without potential. You were simply never trained to monetize it. The poor ask, which job pays the most? The wealthy ask, which skill can I build that makes me valuable anywhere? See the difference? Jobs expire. Skills compound. Side 2, scalable systems. Once you master a skill, you must escape the trap of time. You can't get wealthy renting out your hours. You only get wealthy building systems that produce without your constant effort. Systems could be a business, a brand, a digital product, a piece of software, a distribution pipeline, an automated service, a repeatable process, a leveraged skill delivered at scale. The shift is simple. Stop being the worker. Start becoming the architect. Most people never get here because systems require creativity, strategy, and patience, traits school never teaches. Meanwhile, wealthy people build systems the way others build excuses. Side 3, smart asset allocation. This is the side almost everyone avoids because it requires delayed gratification. Wealthy people turn their money into workers. Poor people turn their money into dopamine. Wealthy people ask, how can I make this dollar multiply? Poor people ask, how can I make this dollar disappear? Asset allocation isn't just about investing. It's about identity. It's about believing your future is worth funding. Every wealthy person follows a simple truth. Your money should not sit. Your money should work. Assets are your employees. Treat them like it. Chapter 26. The lies you were taught about money. You didn't choose your financial programming. It was handed to you. Most people were raised with lies disguised as wisdom. Money is the root of all evil. No one gets rich without luck. Rich people are greedy. Saving is the only path to wealth. Be grateful and don't ask for more. Debt is bad. You must go to school to make money. Stable jobs are safe. You can't make money without money. None of these are truths. They are comfort phrases designed to protect you from disappointment, but also designed to keep you small. Your parents didn't lie to you intentionally. They passed down the fears they inherited. But here's the turning point. You can't build wealth with beliefs built for survival. At some point, you must confront your programming and ask yourself, is this belief helping me or holding me back? Because your financial limits are not real, they are inherited, and what was inherited can be rewritten. Chapter 27. The cost of being financially uneducated. Being financially uneducated is not neutral. It is expensive. You pay for it every day. You pay for it through high interest, inflation, impulse buying, missed opportunities, poor negotiations, bad habits, hidden fees, emotional spending, never learning how to increase income, never understanding where your money goes, never understanding how money grows, never understanding how money compounds. Ignorance is not free. It is the most expensive lifestyle you can choose. The wealthy know this, which is why they invest more in education after they succeed than before. Think about that. Most people stop learning once they leave school. The wealthy never stop because they understand financial ignorance creates financial dependence. Financial education creates financial independence. Chapter 28. Why some people get rich and others don't. The hard truth. There is one psychological principle that predicts wealth better than IQ, talent, or background. Consistency. The wealthy are consistent where others are emotional. They invest consistently. They create consistently. They learn consistently. They repeat what works consistently. They stick to strategies consistently. They stay the course consistently. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. They start fast. They quit fast. They change direction constantly. They abandon plans at the first sign of discomfort. Wealth rewards the boring. Wealth rewards the patient. Wealth rewards the disciplined. You cannot sporadically behave like a wealthy person and expect to become one. You become wealthy by consistently making wealthy decisions, one day at a time, one habit at a time, one investment at a time. Chapter 29. The secret money belief. The rich live by this belief separates the wealthy from everyone else. There is always a way to earn, a way to save, a way to invest, a way to solve, a way to pivot, a way to rebuild, a way to grow. The poor believe in limits. The wealthy believe in solutions. This single belief determines who keeps climbing and who sits still. When wealthy people face a financial block, they don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "How do I overcome it? What can I use? What angle am I missing? What skill do I need? What resource can I create? What opportunity can I unlock?" The wealthy move through problems. The poor stop at them. This is not intelligence. This is mindset. Chapter 30. Your relationship with money is shaping your future. Money is emotional. You have a relationship with it whether you're aware of it or not. For some, money is safety. For others, it's fear. For others, it's power. For others, it's shame. For others, it's freedom. For others, it's uncertainty. Here's the key. Your relationship with money determines your behavior with money. Your behavior determines your results. If money scares you, you'll avoid learning about it. If money intimidates you, you'll avoid managing it. If money feels overwhelming, you'll avoid planning for it. If money feels out of reach, you'll avoid trying to grow it. Changing your financial life requires one internal transformation. You must redefine what money means to you. It is not your enemy. It is not your master. It is not a symbol of worth. It is not a symbol of morality. Money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. A tool that multiplies your decisions. Make better decisions, and money becomes a better tool. Chapter 31, The 10th Secret of Wealth. Money grows where your attention goes. Here's a truth most people never realize. Money follows attention. Money avoids neglect. Whatever you ignore financially will cost you. Whatever you track financially will grow. Wealthy people obsess over numbers not because they love math, but because they understand this. You cannot improve what you do not monitor. Poor people avoid looking at their finances because it makes them uncomfortable. Wealthy people look at their finances because it makes them accountable. And here's the paradox. The more you avoid looking at your financial reality, the worse it becomes. The more you face it, the faster it improves. Where attention goes, growth follows. Chapter 32, Why Most People Never Experience Financial Freedom. Financial freedom is not a number. It is a behavior. Remember, most people never reach it for 3 reasons. 1. They underestimate how much they waste. 2. They overestimate how much they need to start. 3. They misunderstand how wealth is built. Let's break these down. 1. You underestimate how much you waste. Small leaks sink big ships. People waste money on impulse purchases, subscriptions they forgot, items that provide no return, emotional spending, convenience spending, social pressure buying. The wealthy know the difference between money that returns and money that disappears. Not all spending is equal. Some spending builds you. Some spending bleeds you. Track it. Respect it. Redirect it. 2. You overestimate how much you need to start. Most people think wealth building requires a large salary, an inheritance, business connections, a perfect background, a lucky break, the right moment, validation, permission. None of that is true. What you actually need is consistency plus time plus direction. You can start with $10, $20, $50. That's how savings grow. That's how investing grows. That's how skill building grows. That's how business grows. You don't need a fortune to begin. You need a beginning to build a fortune. 3. You misunderstand how wealth is built. Most people think wealth is built quickly. It's not. It's built silently, behind the scenes, in habits no one sees, in routines no one talks about, in decisions no one praises. Wealth is not an event. It is a lifestyle. A lifestyle built through thousands of small choices that compound into extraordinary outcomes. Chapter 33, The Most Underrated Skill of the Wealthy. Long-term thinking. Your future wealth is determined by a single ability. Can you think beyond the moment? Most people live in right now. The wealthy live in years from now. They make decisions the present self dislikes so the future self can thrive. They sacrifice today so they can own tomorrow. You cannot build wealth with a short-term mindset and expect long-term results. Every wealthy person understands this truth. Wealth rewards patience and punishes impulsiveness. Here's the question. When you make financial decisions, are you serving your present self or your future self? Your answer determines your destiny. Chapter 34. Your future self is asking for help. Imagine yourself 10 years from now, older, wiser, more capable, more confident, more successful, more free. Now ask yourself, what does that version of you need? More discipline, more knowledge, more consistency, more investments, more courage, more risk-taking, more emotional control, more financial awareness. Because that version of you exists. They're waiting. They're watching the choices you make. And every day you delay, they pay the price. But every day you act, they benefit. Wealth is built through loyalty to your future self. If you appreciate our efforts and our thoughts, subscribe and like this video. We need to show the world that there are many people like us. We must always continue to improve. Chapter 35. The Money Autopilot that Guarantees Wealth. The wealthy use a simple system that automatically builds wealth. Automation, automated transfers, automated investments, automated savings, automated percentage allocations, automated reinvestment, automated growth. If you rely on discipline alone, you eventually break. If you rely on automation, you eventually win. Automation removes emotion, forgetfulness, impulsiveness, excuses, hesitation, self-sabotage. Money grows best when you leave it alone. Imagine waking up every month wealthier. Even if you did nothing, that's the power of money on autopilot. Chapter 36. The Levels of Wealth. No one talks about. Wealth isn't one level, it's 5. Let's walk through them. Level 1. Survival. You live paycheck to paycheck. You fear emergencies. You have more month than money. This is where most people stay. Level 2. Stability. You have an emergency fund. Your bills are predictable. Your income covers your life. This level brings peace, but not freedom. Level 3. Freedom. Your investments cover your basic expenses. You could walk away from your job, but you choose not to. This level feels unreal. Level 4. Abundance. You can afford choices, not just survival. You travel when you want. You buy what matters. You invest out of excitement, not fear. Most people call this being rich. Level 5. Legacy. Your money works faster than you can spend it. Your impact outlives you. Your choices shape generations. Your wealth becomes a contribution, not just a possession. This is where the wealthy play. This is the level built on discipline, direction, and a deep understanding of money psychology. Chapter 37. The One Rule That Makes Wealth Inevitable. There is one rule that guarantees wealth if you follow it long enough. Never break the chain. The chain is everything. The chain of learning, the chain of saving, the chain of investing, the chain of creating, the chain of tracking, the chain of discipline. Wealth isn't built by intensity. It's built by continuity. You don't need to be brilliant. You don't need to be lucky. You don't need to be special. You just need to be consistent. If you never break the chain will pull you toward wealth. Chapter 38. The next stage of your journey. You've learned the patterns, the psychology, the behaviors, the mental models, the hidden rules, the traps, the mindset, the structure, the beliefs, the identity, the habits, the emotions, the systems, the strategy. Now, it's time to go even deeper because the final chapters reveal how to internalize all of this so wealth becomes your default state, not your dream. Chapter 39. The Shift from Information to Transformation. You've learned the psychology. You've learned the strategies. You've learned the patterns that separate the wealthy from everyone else. Now comes the part that most people skip: implementation, identity, embodiment. Remember, this is where you stop knowing about wealth and start thinking like wealth. Because the truth is this: you don't get rich by collecting information. You get rich by transforming your identity. When your identity changes, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your habits change. When your habits change, your outcomes change. Wealth never begins in your bank account. It begins in your mind and grows through your behavior. So let's step into the stage where transformation becomes inevitable. Chapter 40. The Wealth Identity Shift. There are 3 types of people in the world. 1. People who avoid money. 2. People who chase money. 3. People who attract money. Which one you become depends entirely on your mindset. Let's break it down. 1. The avoider. This person believes money is stressful. Money is complicated. Money is for other people. I don't want to think about it. Avoiders avoid responsibility and therefore avoid wealth. 2. The chaser. This person runs after money with hustle effort, intensity, stress, fear, urgency. They chase money because they believe it's scarce. They grind because they believe it's difficult. They never feel secure because their relationship with money is survival-based. Chasers burn out long before they build true wealth. 3. The attractor. This is the wealthy identity. Attractors understand that money flows toward value. Money flows toward discipline. Money flows toward systems. Money flows toward clarity. Money flows toward identity. Attractors think differently, move differently, operate differently. They don't chase money. They build environments where money chases them. The moment you shift from chasing to attracting, wealth becomes inevitable. Chapter 41. The 3 questions that determine your financial future. If you want to know your financial destiny, answer these honestly. Question 1. What do you believe about money? Not what you say, but what your behavior reveals. Do you believe money is scarce or abundant, dangerous or empowering, hard to earn, or a byproduct of value? Your beliefs shape your bank account more than your skills do. Question 2. Who do you listen to? Your financial life is the average of the voices you allow into your mind. Broke friends, negative family, fear-based media, complacent colleagues. These voices influence you more than you realize. Shift your environment and your wealth shifts with it. Question 3. What do you tolerate? You cannot live a wealthy life with poor habits. You cannot think like the rich with a scarcity mind. You cannot build wealth if you tolerate procrastination, emotional spending, financial avoidance, inconsistency, self-doubt, impulsiveness, excuses. Your life expands when your standards rise. Chapter 42. The formula the rich use to buy back their time. Wealthy people see money differently. To most people, money is something to spend. To wealthy people, money is a tool to regain time. Time is the real currency of the rich. They don't ask, how much does this cost? They ask, how many hours of my life will this buy back? They use money to buy speed, buy knowledge, buy leverage, buy automation, buy systems, buy expertise, buy peace, buy freedom. This is why the wealthy grow richer faster. They compound time, not hours. Chapter 43. The final evolution, thinking like a wealth architect. You've learned how wealth is created, how behavior controls outcomes, how psychology shapes money. how discipline compounds, how patience pays, how identity directs everything. Now comes the final transformation. You must stop thinking like a participant and start thinking like a designer, not someone who reacts to life, but someone who builds life, not someone who hopes for wealth, but someone who engineers wealth. An architect thinks, what do I want my life to look like? What systems must exist to make that inevitable? What habits must support those systems? What identity must command those habits? What standards must protect that identity? This is the thinking of the wealthy. This is the thinking of the self-made. This is the thinking of the unstoppable. And now, this is your thinking. Chapter 56, The Final Message. You didn't listen to this audiobook by accident. You were guided to it because you're ready for a new chapter of your life. A chapter defined by discipline, wealth, awareness, self-control, clarity, long-term thinking, intention, vision, responsibility, identity growth. This audiobook wasn't just information, it was initiation. You crossed the mental threshold that most people never reach. Your future is no longer random. Your financial life is no longer accidental. Your habits are no longer unconscious. Your mindset is no longer limited. You have clarity. You have awareness. You have tools. You have identity. You have direction. Now all that's left is consistent action. Before we close, I'll leave you with one final question. What will you build now that you know better? If this audiobook moved you, if it shifted you, if it opened your eyes in any way, tell me, what topic do you want the next audiobook to explore? Discipline, wealth building, mindset, resilience, focus, self-identity, confidence, success psychology? Your next chapter begins the moment you choose it.